Okay, thank you. I hope everyone can hear me okay. And so I'm going to share my screen too, because I've got a presentation for you. I hope that's okay. A few seconds while, okay. Oh, you've disabled participant screen sharing, Paul. Could you hear me?
Yeah, got it. Sorry, that should be okay now. Oh, hang on, stop sharing. Right, okay, you should be all right now.
Okay, okay, thanks. Okay, so can you see?
Not yet.
Not yet. That's it. You should be able to see now. Okay,
got it.
2 seconds. Okay, can you see?
Yeah, got it. Perfect.
Brilliant. That's good. Oh, it's working. Okay, so thank you everybody for being here and letting me speak to you today. So before I start going into everything, I want to ask just 2 questions. Just 2 questions. So the first question, my first question is, have you ever had a class that tried your patience every day? I think you have. I've had lots of classes, if I'm honest. In my experience, I've had lots and lots of classes that really, really have tried my patience, especially in secondary schools. And my second question is, have you ever had a class that listens to you? They're really well behaved, they're little angels. But when you go to test them or you do any kind of assessment, you realise they have never learned anything at all. They've never listened to anything you've said, or they've probably never even opened their textbooks. Have you ever had a class like that? So me, I've had lots and lots of classes like that. So I think we all have. I think as teachers, that's just part of our job. I think it's normal. That's what we have to do. We have to teach them and we have to motivate them. So, as I say, we've all been there, we've all had these difficulties. So today I'm going to share with you a possible solution to these issues. So I'm not going to make you any ridiculous promises. I'm just going to tell you what works for me, my experience. And it isn't a secret. Teachers living all over the world, probably you already are using these online community projects to get better results and to motivate your students to want to learn foreign languages. Okay, so next slide. Let's see if I can make it work. So today's points are: why online community projects? What is an online community project? I'll give you some popular online community project platforms, and I'll also tell you some reasons that teachers don't use online community platforms, projects in their lessons, and how integrating online community projects into our curricula can motivate language learning, enrich our curricula, and help support our own professional development. Okay, and finally, at the very end, I'll give you some examples of the project I did with Barbara Zielonka and Lynn Thomas, which is called Single Voices Global Choices, last year during pandemic. Okay then, so my story. So as Paul said, I'm an English teacher in a state school, and I've been teaching English as a foreign language for more than 30 years, and in Italy. I did teach in England for a very brief period, but most of my experience has been in the south of Italy, and I'm also an affiliated researcher. So I'd just like to tell you where my story began with online community projects, and that happened just not that long ago, 8 years ago, and I was working in a small school, a really small school, but it was in a really rough area, in a socially disadvantaged area that was famous for really difficult students. Okay, and I was really having problems. I really was. The students were terrible. They were really badly behaved, rude, bad mannered, difficult, and I just didn't know what to do. So I tried an online community project, the very first one I did, and it was on a e-twinning platform, and that's where I met Barbara, who is now my very dear friend. She's my mentor. She's taught me so much, and she's my partner in many projects, and also the one I'm going to show you today, Single Voices Global Choices. So I can't pretend it was easy. I'm not going to say it was easy. Internet was useless, and nearly all our computers and devices were broken. And at first, the students thought I was mad. They thought I was crazy, and so did my colleagues, obviously. But by the end of the year, the students were so enthusiastic that those of them who had their own computers were bringing them to school so that they could actually work on the projects. So this transformation was just nothing short of a miracle. It was a miracle. The students loved the communication part, and they were inspired by the interesting activities. But most of all, which was the most important to me, they began to like learning English, and they even became good at it. So I realised that something really important had happened to both to them and to me. This experience had boosted my confidence as a teacher, and I wanted to learn more. So that's my online community project story, and I'd like to tell you more about online community projects. So what are online community projects? Does anybody know? I can't see the textbook anymore, I don't think. Let's see if I can see on the other line. Does anybody? Yeah, I've got some messages. Does anybody know what an online community project is? Well, you might not, because, see, sorry, I'm just looking at the text, if anybody's answering. Does anybody know? Okay, a little bit, yeah. Issues prevailing in the society, fantastic. Not sure, not really. Okay, Erasmus, yeah, Erasmus can be an online community project, perfect. Okay, that's great. Well, I have to be honest, I invented the term online community project. So it's unlikely anybody's ever heard of online community projects unless you've read my thesis and anything that I've written. So, but you might have heard of some of the platforms, for example, eTwinning. If you live in Europe, I'm sure you would have heard of eTwinning, Connecting Classrooms, iEarn. The thing is, all these platforms, especially eTwinning, has become an eponym, which means people say, I'm going to do an eTwinning project, so I'm going to do an iEarn project. And there was no name for it. So I've given it a name, online community projects. And they need a name. They're worth it. I have to have a name, because I really do believe that teachers can benefit from using them, and I'll tell you why. So anyone who might not know, I'll just tell you quickly what they involve. So let's start. So you start with a teacher who has an idea, for example, Single Voices, Global Choices. It was on International Days. So you have an idea, you invite another teacher and you talk about the idea. Then you invite other teachers. Okay, so an online community project can have many teachers, or you can just have two. As long as there's at least two, that's fine. And they communicate and collaborate across borders using technology. Okay, so it's nothing special really. We do this all the time, but not among teachers maybe. Students collaborate using technology, whether it be their smartphone or a tablet, computers, emails, texts, anyway. And then in this way, they create an online community. So just to make a summary, an online community project is a community of teachers and their classes who are connected around a joint goal, around a shared topic, and they're located in the same community setting, which obviously needs a web space. So that is important. Okay, so next slide. Point 3, we've arrived at point 3 already, and there are lots of specialised platforms that you can use. So if you want to do an online community project, you can choose among all sorts of platforms. I've just put a few here, but I'm sure there are lots more. So if you live in Europe, you can use eTwinning, and it's really, really popular and very popular. If you live in Asia, you can use the Asia Europe Foundation. iEarn is American, but it's international. Anybody can use iEarn. It's with iEarn, it's easier to join a project than to create one from experience. Connecting Classrooms is from the British Council, so that is, I think it's quite new. I think I read it's only 4 years old, but it's going very strong, and it's always online community projects. Pen Pal Schools is like iEarn. It's a international website, so you can, or platform, you can, anybody can, wherever you live, you can join there. And these are all really good because you can meet other teachers. So to begin, any of these are perfect. You can meet other teachers, you can learn how to create projects, but you don't have to use these. You can also use your own. There's hundreds of user-friendly platforms you can use, for example, Wix, Weebly, and the one that we use, which is WordPress. Okay, so you can use any of these, they're all really good. So I thought, rather than me explaining, I've got some videos. These are the promotional videos these sites have got on their website. I've put the website there if you want to go and have a look afterwards. I'll just show you quick clips. I won't show you the whole thing, even though they're not very long, just so you can get an idea. So the first one is iEarn, and if you remember, that's an American one.
Students with the rest of the world.
Can you hear?
Since 1988, iEarn has been doing just that. Students are crossing international borders and jumping language barriers to collaborate on global projects across subjects like math, writing, art, science, and history. In a safe and secure online platform called the Collaboration Center, students and teachers participate in dialogue.
Okay. Oh, stop. I did it wrong, sorry. I wanted to show you the next one, but I've moved on. So this one is e-twinning. As I say, I only show you a little bit of each one because we haven't got a lot of time.
Is a community of schools in Europe. It was set up with the idea that by collaborating together and sharing best practices, teachers can develop their skills beyond the limits of the traditional classroom environment. Collaborating with schools in other countries makes learning more interesting and more fun too. It's also a great way to foster friendship and understanding.
Hey, Les, I don't think the audio is working that well on these, to be
Well,
honest.
it's not.
Working together on
Not
projects
really, it's quite
Right.
difficult to hear. Yeah.
Okay.
subject they are studying,
Can you hear?
but they will also
It's,
Okay,
develop speaking.
so I'll leave that then.
yeah, maybe. It's sort of, yeah, quite tinny, or it's sort of, yeah, dropping out.
Okay then. Okay then. So we made our own promotional video, which there's no sound. Shall I just show you that one then quickly? There's no sound for this one. Well, there was, but I made it quieter. I speeded it up. Okay. Okay. So that was our one, the one that we did, so that we could, because as I said, we had an e-twinning platform, but we also had the WordPress one, so we had people from all over the world. So, have these videos inspired you to use one of these platforms? You didn't see them all, but do you feel inspired? Do the platforms look useful? I hope so. Good. So, the problem is, if online community projects, if all these platforms are so magical, they're so wonderful, why don't more teachers use them? I mean, in Europe, everybody knows e-twinning, but very few teachers, if you think of how many teachers there actually are, actually do use them. So my research showed that the main reason that teachers choose not to use online community projects is because they haven't got a lot of time, they lack time. So that's true. We are all really busy. Teachers are busy people. We have lots of things that we have to teach our students, and we've got our own personal lives as well. So in my experience, although we're busy, but my experience the time spent preparing online community projects is an investment, because you save time in the long run and you get better results. So another problem is that some teachers think that their students might behave badly. So I'm going to ask you that question. Do you think your students might behave badly if you do an online community project with them? Lots of people do. They do. They're worried. Okay, so yeah, many teachers do think they would. I must admit I was worried, and at first, as I said, with my class from hell, the very first lessons, they thought I was mad. But once you get used to them, it's just not a problem. It hasn't been for me. So some teachers think their students will waste time because they think their students haven't got the necessary language skills. I think they need really lots and lots of language skills to be able to do these projects. That's not true. You can do the activity to the level you need. They can use language in any way, okay? Another thing, teachers often think that students won't take the activities seriously, or that they might be distracted by the internet. I've never found that. If the topic that you choose is interesting for them, and they know that somebody living in another country is going to see what they do, they're motivated. So the thing is, online community projects invite learner-centered teaching approaches, and this is the central theme to what I want to say here today. The thing is, when the teacher puts the learner at the centre of learning, they're able to construct their own meaning from the activity, rather than just passively listen to the teacher and the teacher's opinions and the teacher's everything. Okay. So another problem teachers have is technology. So I think all education systems all over the world want us to use technology in our lessons, don't they? Do we all use technology here? I'm sure we do. I'm sure, especially everybody here, a very enthusiastic teacher. Yeah, sure, of course, we all do. So, but some teachers are still not comfortable, despite lockdown and despite having to use it. Some teachers are still not comfortable. They're scared maybe that the students know more than them, which is understandable. But and they're scared about the school's equipment, you know, and not all schools have got the most functioning equipment, let's be honest. But again, in my experience, I mean, I'm an old lady, so technology has been a new thing for me. It's been the students who have helped me. They've helped me learn, and my colleagues, Barbara. When you're in a community, you help each other, and that's what the beauty is for these things. So yeah, you improve with technology thanks to online community projects. In fact, I even had a teacher, I've just remembered a teacher, she lives in France in actual fact, and in her school, they had nothing. They had no internet, and they didn't even have any computers. And she used to take her computer in, her own computer, so that the students could post their work every week. So, you know, you really can do it with the minimum. You don't need a lot. And another reason is that some teachers prefer a more traditional teaching approach, which I think, at least in Italy, that is quite normal, that there's, let's say, traditional approaches. I mean, do we think it's better to experiment with new methods or to stick to what we know works? Well, obviously, if something works, why leave it? But I really do believe that a good curricula needs a variation of approaches. And we need to do that because in this way, we can develop as teachers, and we can then find things which work for us and work for our students, because every human being is different. Our students are different. You can't expect them to learn the way we did. Okay. Which takes us to point 5. Point 5, as I said, I'm going to show you how they can. I've said all the things why people don't use them. Now I'm going to show you how they can you help us. So let's move to the next one. We have to consider the changes in our society. And I don't know how old, I think you're all very young, I'm sure you are. I'm quite old, but even the youngest of teachers today would have seen a world of changes since they were at school. The world's different now to what it was just 20 years ago. The world's changing so quickly. And the young people today have never known a world without mobile phones and technology and internet. They don't. So, I mean, it's inevitable they're going to learn differently to the way we did, or at least the way I did. So anyway, I just wanted to share some research by Gayak who in 2018, she did some research on the way young people spend their time. And by the time they're 21, by 21 years old, a young person would have spent 15,000 hours in formal education. So by the age of 21, a 21-year-old would have spent 15,000 hours at school. Okay. Then they would have also spent 20,000 hours in front of the television. So 15,000 hours at school, 20,000 hours in front of the television, and 50,000 hours in front of a computer. So look at these numbers. 15,000 at school, 20,000 in front of the telly, and 50,000 in front of the computer or their tablet or telephone, of course. So these numbers are phenomenal. But I argue as well, this was 2018, and since COVID, I think these numbers must have rocketed. They'd be much higher even now. So, okay, so this is one reason we need to consider changing society, but also we've got a global society now. So often in our classes, we'll have students from all different parts of the world, different parts of the country, and they'll all have different social and cultural backgrounds. And we need to cater for all of them. So we need to think about how we're teaching them. Not only that, we need to feel, not just students, but us teachers, we need to feel that what we're doing is important. We need to believe in what we're doing and we need to be interested in it. The problem is, all of us, we're all language teachers, but any teacher will have to prepare our students for tests, for exams, for state exams, for standardised tests, for example, IELTS, Cambridge, all these tests that our students need, and we have to help them get there, which is fine. But the problem is, if you've got students maybe who don't believe in these tests, they're not going to do them, or they think they're too difficult, they're sure they're not going to pass them, they just won't even bother trying. They won't waste their time. So, you know, you're lost before you began. Again, if you're using a textbook, I mean, we use textbooks at school, and if these textbooks cater for cultures which are different from the students, for example, you know, how often have we taught our students to order food in a English-speaking restaurant, which is fine. But if our students are not going to be going to an English-speaking restaurant, if they're never going to go to England, if they don't think they're going to go there, or they're not going to need to use it, why should they bother learning? You know, they're just not going to be interested in it. Instead, with online community projects, they'll be able to, for example, tell their international peers about what their mum cooks them for dinner, or what their favourite food is, or what their traditional food is, which is makes so much more sense, and they learn the skills anyway. So that's one thing. What else? About the Common European Framework for Languages. So we all know that, don't we? It's our Bible. All us language teachers know about the Common European Framework for Languages, even if we don't live in Europe. We all know these, like A2, the B1, anybody teaches languages knows something about the levels, I think. Do you know about the levels? B1, C2, advanced? Yeah, of course, everybody does. Yes, good. So, I just wanted to point out that even though it was first published in 2001, and it was published, as we know, to give a foundation to all of our curricula and the exams. I mean, all the exams are based on these levels. but it was updated just a few years ago in 2018, and it clearly states that we need to use learner-centered, competence-based teaching. So they realise that teachers are too worried about grammar and about exercises, and they're trying to push us onto competence-based teaching, for which online community projects are perfect. Okay. And let's move it forward. So the thing is, when students use learner-centered activities, they learn how to learn. They learn to be independent. They are empowered. They are motivated, and they become more confident. So they take control of their own learning, okay, and of their futures and of their own lives. Okay, so point 6 is examples from our project of last year. Single Voices, Global Choices. Okay, and this project, as I said, was made by Barbara, Lynn and I, and it was done for last academic year. I just wanted to remind everybody that if anybody wants to begin an online community project and they haven't done it before, I strongly suggest that you just join somebody else's. There's no need that you set up a project from the word go. Join someone else's, learn from them, and then you can start. But I'll just show you the 3 steps we need anyway, so you know what you need to make a project. Okay, so and I'll do this using our project, our Single Voices, Global Choices. So the first thing you do, you have to decide on a topic and set up the platform. So the topic we decided on last year was International Days that were created by the United Nations. So we chose this last year because it was so ample and very flexible, so that the teachers, because of COVID, we wanted something that would cater for everybody, that everybody would be interested in, and it was successful. So this project really had 3 topics. It had the maintenance of international peace, so peace and security, the sustainable development goals, and of course the human rights. So really it was 3 in 1, all set around the International Days. So this is just an example from task 1. Task 1 was from, what was it, October to November, I think. So it's just 1 month anyway, just to give you an idea of all the different international days that the teachers, the students had to choose from among, and the students and teachers chose together. I just point out there were lots, there were even more than this, but obviously we chose the ones that we thought were interesting. And the most interesting one was World Toilet Day, World Food Day, World Mental Health Day, European Day of Languages, and International Youth Day. These were the ones that were most interesting. But as you can see by the little blue mark, that some teachers did all of them. So, okay. The second step is you have to find partners, or you don't have to. If you've got 2 teachers, you've got enough. But the more partners you have, the more possibility you have to do synchronized communication, which I'll talk about afterwards. So as you can see, our Single Voices Global Choices project, we had more than 200 people, or teachers, let's say teachers, connected with us, and all of their classes. So there was a really large amount of people. Obviously, you can see Europe here was eTwinning, because eTwinning is a well-known platform, but we also had people from other parts of the world, and they were very active in the projects. Okay. And then you set up the activity. So whatever online community project you do, you should find a plan. This I've just done a screenshot just to show you. This is our one. We had 4 activities because we began in September and we finished in April. And we tried to document it as clearly as possible, so any new teachers would know what to do or know where to go. But at the same time, they were flexible. People were able to adapt the task to their class, so it was good for everybody. There was a clear plan. We made sure everybody knew that students needed to give us consent forms, and we posted them in all the languages. Not we, the teachers, everybody did, obviously. It's a community. And then etiquette, so obviously the kids need to learn that. We shared our lesson plans. So the first part, introductions, all of these were active, obviously, and you could click on them and there'd be advice, or not advice, that's no advice there, just suggestions, let's say. And at the end of it, there was, of course, a project evaluation and a final product. Not everybody does final products in their online community projects, but I like to have something at the end that we've done, that we've achieved together. I'll just show you some examples of students and teachers introductions. I've just done a quick screenshot. I've tried to find somewhere where there was no photos, because students love posting their photos, they really do. And even if it's not of them, they put their schools, their village. They want to communicate, they want to share, they want to tell everybody about themselves. And they also love to read about each other. These are just a few people from Sweden, Norway, I think, Italy, and teachers, we did the same. I've bleached it, so obviously I wouldn't want any teachers to if they didn't want me to share it here, so I've just showing you more or less what it was. But if you want to see it, you can go to our Twin Space and you can see it there. Okay, so that was introductions. As I said, big projects makes it possible for synchronized communication. That's not part of the tasks. This is something we do the whole time. We put our timetables and we communicate. We find time when we can connect, and our students love it, and so do we. It's always a very happy experience. This was before and after lockdown, and really this last year it was surprising, because you'd think with lockdown everything would be more difficult, but teachers just wanted to communicate even more than ever. So this was before lockdown, as you can see, classrooms, white screens, lots of kids with masks, but not everybody. In fact, my students who have to wear masks were amazed that students in Norway weren't wearing masks. So this was at school. But we all went into lockdown, all of us did, didn't we? Last year was the year of lockdown, and the year before. And so surprisingly enough, and it really was surprising, we continued doing it, not just we all did, but nearly all the teachers at some point connected with other classrooms using their whatever conference tool they were using. And some of the students took photographs of themselves in their bedrooms connecting. Obviously, doing this, you need something like Kahoot or some game to play, because it's not as easy as what it would be otherwise. And let's say in spite of lockdown, because this is just one screenshot, but there were pages and pages of videos, because as a community, teachers and students want to post, we want to share what we've done. So these are all videos of synchronized communication. So communication done in real time, as you can see, Gudinesi and Izmir, Norway and Italy. This is just a few. Turkey, Izmir and Brazil, Norway, Sweden. This is just one screenshot, but there were lots, and we talked about all sorts of different things, whatever we wanted to. Okay, and this is some of the work. As I said, again, we did these tasks. Each month we had different international days, but that was a project last year. Each project would be different. And these are the way the students communicated, because obviously before I was showing you synchronized communication. The communication is not just synchronized, is it? We can communicate using videos, or the students can communicate using videos, forums, posters, and they really enjoyed doing research for these international days, they were inspired. For example, we can see Toilet Day. For example, my students were, first of all, they couldn't believe what a toilet day, what is a toilet day? But when they realised what it actually meant and what the significance was for people even living in Italy who were homeless and didn't have sanitary means, obviously, it's so much bigger than just toilet day. So anyway, this is just one thing, but we learned so much, and we learn about our students as well. So I've just put a few more. There was just so many. I wanted to share them all with you, but I couldn't. So I've just put a few of them. International Women's Day, kindness, it's a good one, book day, whatever the teachers thought their students would enjoy, they did. This in actual fact was one of mine. I asked my students to find some Italian women, some inspiring women. And, you know, they don't realise that even living in their own country, there are some fantastic women. Okay, and even more, sorry, I've gone a bit mad here. I've put lots and lots of videos and things because they were so inspiring. Okay, so our final product was an acoustic poem. We were in April, some of us were just going back to school, but we still did it anyway. It wasn't easy. For anybody who doesn't know what an acoustic poem is, I mean, I must admit I didn't know until just not that long ago. It's when you've got these words, for example, single voices, global choices, you take the first letter and make the line to a poem, and together you get a poem. So all these countries joined in. We asked our students to write a line, and then we made a video for it. This was made by one of our Turkish team. She's amazing. We all contribute. Everybody gives something. I'll just show you a little bit because there's not a lot of. No, there is a lot of speaking. Tiny bit because you can't hear it. It's not much voice. Okay. Just one more student, I'll show you. They were fantastic anyway, as I say. Oh, here's the page over, not start again. As I say, if you can't hear, there's no point in showing you, but you can go and look yourself. I'll put the link if anybody wants to. So, as I said before, we have at the end of each project, we like to do a survey to see what everybody thinks, and the results of last year's survey was this. I've just made a summary, and so we had one for teachers and one for students, and I summarised the results. So I'll just read it to you. Most participants told us that their use of ICT skills and English communication improved, and this was both pupils and teachers. Some of the participants said that their English grades were improving because of their increased confidence, which is amazing. Some participants felt more socially confident, which is also a really good thing. Teachers noticed an increased curiosity and ability to access knowledge on behalf of their students, which means that they saw them more interested and wanting to learn more, and that they were able to learn more, using their telephones maybe to look for information rather than just use it for social media, which a lot of our students do, unfortunately. So, and students also said they were more aware of the importance of tolerance, diversity and intercultural dialogue because of the nature of the project that we did. Okay, so in conclusion, I'll just quickly give you a summary of what I wanted to say today, of what online community projects are and the benefits of integrating them. So, first of all, we have to remember that online community projects require and encourage learner-centered teaching. So that is what I think that was the centerpiece. That is why online community projects are so successful, is because we're forced to use learner-centered approaches. That means that learning is constructed through practice, and that students learn by doing instead of passively listening to the teacher or reading textbooks. This is useful because every learner is different, and so they can learn at their own pace and help each other. Teachers know their classes, so they can choose topics that students care about and are interested in. Okay. Teachers, so they help teachers develop professionally. We become more confident as teachers, and we improve our relationships with our students. We strengthen our digital and global skills, not just us, but our students too. And teachers and students learn from each other. Teachers learn from more experienced teachers, and more experienced teachers learn from younger teachers. We learn from each other. We create more positive identities as language teachers and students as language learners. We learn about other cultures and how to collaborate with people outside of our own area, and that is done without travelling or moving out of our comfort zone. Learners strengthen their language and communication skills, and finally, students acquire competencies that will be useful to them throughout their lives. And that is all. Thank you so much for listening to me. You've been amazing. I've been reading what you've been writing. You've been amazing, fantastic. Thank you ever so much for listening to me. And I'd love it if anybody had some questions, so that I can keep talking.
We have got some questions. We have got questions, Leslie. You can do, yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Let's see if I can find out to stop sharing. Okay.
All right. Perfect. Yeah. There we go.
Okay.
So thanks, Leslie. That was really interesting, really engaging, and kind of, yeah, really great to see all the kind of the benefits and some of the challenges and reasons for sort of setting these up. And lots of interest, I think, from everyone who's been watching. Lots of people. I'm going to sort of try and group some of the questions together because a lot of them are sort of quite similar. So I think most people are sort of trying to find out how they get involved. I know you sort of said join someone else's, but is there a sort of a, if you were going to sort of search for an online sort of community or online teaching community, what would you put in?
It depends on where you live. If you live in Europe, obviously eTwinning has to be the best option. If you live outside of Europe, you could, iEarn is a really good one. If you live in Asia, ASF, it's ASAF. There's the British Council one, Connecting Classrooms, and that is also international. Yeah. As I say, it's new, and I don't think it's had a lot of publicity, has it? But that looks really good. It looks good to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not involved in it personally, but yeah, I've sort of had some sort of, I know a little bit. I'll just put a link in actually, because that's
PayPal, Pen Pal Schools looks really good. I've not used that one, but it's really, really beautiful. The video I wanted to show you because I like it so much. Go to PayPal, Pen Pals, Pen Pal Schools, and have a look at that. Just look at the video. It really is. It's worth going there. Just look at the video. It's really good. But iEarn is another international one. I think Connecting Classrooms. If you live in Britain, connect. But that is global, isn't it? It looks a bit complicated, if I'm honest. Connecting Classrooms. Yeah, because it's new, maybe. iEarn is easy, and so is Pen Pal Schools. And
Okay. Well, I mean, just to sort of say, if you're not if you're sort of struggling with some of the names of these, then we'll be sharing the. So tomorrow, when we put the recording will be available, and also we'll put up the slides as well, PDF of the slides, so you can kind of go through those and sort of pick up any links and places that you want to sort of visit to find out a little bit more. I'm just going to put the link in for connecting classrooms again because someone's asked me to. So there you go. Okay, great. So that's sort of where to go. There's a couple of others. Okay. Where is it? Oh, there's a question. Sorry, Leslie, bear with me just a second. Okay, I mean, there's a thing about privacy, but there's another one about from Danitza asking, do you think OCPs would be beneficial for older students too? Teaches a few 30 to 40-year-olds, and it seems like an interesting activity to take part in, but maybe it's meant only for younger learners.
Well, it's different. Online community projects I've named for secondary schools, but universities are already, they're ahead of us, secondary school teachers, obviously. They have more time to think about these things. And they do something called Tele Collaboration. And there are some websites which you can, if you put Tele Collaboration in fact, in Spain, I think there's a lot of researchers living in, universities in Spain are very active here. And anyway, it's called Tele Collaboration, and they're for older students, and that's really good. And the European have got what are they called? ePals, that's the European one, if anybody, but again, it's like eTwinning, it's a shame because eTwinning is a really user-friendly one, and it's only for European people. There are others.
Yeah.
Tele Collaboration, there are lots of sites. They're really good. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Privacy questions about privacy and sort of students' privacy. I mean, obviously, when you were showing that, it was you bleached out the pictures. Do you sometimes, or have there been kind of any issues with privacy where students have sort of had data sort of stolen? Any issues?
I've never had any problem. Every year though, I make sure that all the students sign authorization form, but obviously when you make your website, you can make them public or not, so it's up to you whether you make them public. And they don't have to post their photographs. I mean, they do like to, but sometimes you can tell them to put a photograph of something that represents them rather than their actual face, so you get pictures of so famous people. Unfortunately, I can't remember any of the names, but it's a good way for teachers to know what young people are looking at and because you learn them all.
Right, exactly.
All the famous people that they like now, football stars, and
but we have no idea who they are.
Social media leaders.
Okay, another question is around assessment, which sort of links to something that I wanted to ask you about, but I'll ask afterwards. From Adrienne Domarog, about how assessment's incorporated.
Yeah, that's a good question, assessment. Yeah, I like to assess. I mean, this is something personal to every teacher, but each term I assess them. But of course, you can't assess them like we do multiple choice questions, for example, or writing. I assess how they work during the year. So, and we assess each other together. So I give them usually Google Forms or something where they give each other marks or each other feedback, and we do it this way because during the year you can see who's worked more, who's worked less. Usually they all work really hard, and so it is a way of making their grades higher because you can help them out a little bit as well in this way, because I've very rarely had a student, well, I don't think I've ever had a student who hasn't worked really hard to their own ability. Obviously some people are better, find it easier than others, but they do the best they can, which is because you can't ask them for any more than that, and you have to evaluate that.
I was going to say, I mean, I think when we were talking before the webinar started about sort of education systems where we live, and the sort of the downside perhaps, or the bad things about them, but obviously this is, you can see how it's obviously making things very learner-centered. It's students sort of taking responsibility for it and taking control of it. So I'm guessing for where you've got sort of mixed ability classes, which obviously, you know, most people have, people sort of do, I don't know what they can, but have you sort of found that where you've got students who may be seen by us as or by other teachers perhaps as being a bit weaker, that they really shone when they were doing these projects?
Exactly, they shine here. They really do. They really do, and they feel good about themselves. This is the key thing. And when they feel good about themselves, they improve in everything. Really, they just we all do, don't we? If we feel good about ourselves, we do better. And it's good also for kids who have got disabilities, because you know, they can then work with a computer, and they help each other, you know.
Sure. Okay. This particular project, the Single Voices Global Choices, is that still running?
No, we've got a new one this year. The one that we've got this year is called Sustainability, Our Priority. In fact, I've got 2 projects going this year. Usually I do. Last year we'd go with COVID, we just did one. On the WordPress site, it's called, in fact I'll write it here, it's called the one that because Barbara always does the WordPress one. She really is amazing, Barbara. She's a Barclay Global teacher finalist, and she is amazing. Any project that she does are huge successes. So the one that she's done on, I'll write it here, you can just look it up on the internet, just write the Lifestyle Challenge, and that's on WordPress. So if you put that, I've written that wrong, haven't I? Challenge, it should be challenge.
That's right.
With WordPress.
Can find that, and
you could join her project, or it's our project if we do it together. And on TwinSpace we've got a slightly different name, but it's always, so this year it's more localized. It's on the sustainable development, basically. So
okay,
which
great.
is important.
I'm just trying to find the Sustainable Lifestyle Challenge, typing it in.
I could have done that, couldn't I? Put the link, sorry.
That's all right. No, that's
that
fine.
would have been quicker. Didn't think.
Okay.
Have you found it? Should I put it on?
I think so. Yeah. Hang on. Let me just. There's a couple, but
if I could.
Got it.
You got it.
Got it. Yeah. Let me just put the link in there. Just to sort of say apologies to people watching on mobile phones, because I know that in the chat links aren't clickable if you're watching on a mobile, but that's fine. I mean, we'll what I'll do is, because everyone watching, you'll get a thank you email tomorrow, so what I will do is add the link to that the Sustainable Lifestyle Challenge into the thank you email, so that you can access that. Okay, let's see, we've got maybe time for one more question. I think it's mostly just about how people can join. I suppose someone's asking specifically in Africa. I think in Africa, teacher associations, if you have a teacher association in your country, then that's probably a good place to go to, because they're the people who often will either know about projects like this, or will be kind of running them. So I would say to get in touch with a national teacher association, if you could do that, just kind of, I think
Connecting Classrooms, I think, works a lot with Africa as well, the British one. From what I've seen, you wouldn't go wrong if you went to Connected Classrooms. Yeah,
no, that's true. Okay, just one very quick question. Obviously, you know, with a lot of teachers, people are kind of working with curriculums, and they're working towards, you know, sort of end of year tests or end of term tests. How do you sort of find, how do you kind of fit this in along with everything else, or is that incorporated into what they need to learn specifically
as far as the curricula is concerned. Yeah, well, it's really easy to fit into the curriculum, I think. I mean, you can choose subjects which fits in with your curriculum if you have to teach English literature, for example. But I think nowadays most of us do need to teach something about the world, something about what's happening around us, and so for that reason any of these subjects would be fine. But if we're teaching our students English and English skills, surely it's better to teach them competencies and skills rather than grammar and what we tend to do because it's maybe what we have always done. And they do improve with their grammar just by doing this, because they put it into practice and they learn by speaking to each other and they want to do it, and so they do it. Whereas if you use a textbook in the classroom, they don't particularly want to do it and they don't often do it, as I said before. The key is motivation, I think, really, and that is how we win with online community projects.
Okay, brilliant. That's great, Leslie. Thanks ever so much for that.
Thank you.
We've sort of run out of time, but we carry on talking for longer, but we're going to have to stop. But thank you. It was really engaging, really interesting to see about that, and hopefully everyone watching, you'll be starting your own community projects very soon. Yes. Let us know if you do. Then let us know. Right. We're going to stop there. Just very quickly, I'm just going to very quickly share my screen again. Where is it? Oh, bear with me, sorry. Hang on, sorry. No, where is it? It's here somewhere.